Good evening. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ron Yance. I will be your master of ceremonies tonight. And welcome to the 50th Annual Spartan Club Hall of Fame Induction Banquet. Welcome to the Thwing. This is 50 years. I have been lucky enough, this is my 20th season of announcing athletics at Case Western Reserve. I've been lucky enough to do this event in Horsburgh Gymnasium, to do this event at the Tink, and now for the second year to do this at the Thwing. You'll hear a lot tonight about Gary Pillar later in our program, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention at the top, it was Gary who a long time ago asked me to MC this banquet, and it has been my good fortune to be a good friend of Gary over the years, and we'll celebrate Gary as tonight goes on. I'd like to recognize some of our outstanding head coaches that are here in attendance tonight. Doug McMillan from swimming and diving. Go ahead, you clap. Alyssa Johnson with women's soccer. Our lead assistant for the men's soccer program, Fernando Lisbo. Karen Farrell, volleyball. And head football coach, Greg Devilak. Tonight, we will honor sports like soccer, both men's and women's. We'll honor tennis. We'll honor track and field. We'll honor an administrator who's a great friend to student athletes, and we'll honor the legacy of Gary Pillar. You will meet Lou, you will meet Maggie, you'll meet Eric, you'll meet Kendra, and you'll meet Harry, Niro, and we'll hear from Gary's family. It truly is a special night. It's my honor to be here, and it's also my pleasure to introduce for tonight's welcome your president at Case Western Reserve, Eric Taylor. Eric?
Thank you, Ron. Good evening, everyone. My wife Karen and I always enjoy these events, and we're very pleased to celebrate this year's Spartan Club Hall of Fame Induction Banquet. I'm very pleased that we're joined this evening by one of our trustees, Gary Daly, and Gordon Daly, sorry. And he was a last year inductee into the same Hall of Fame. So congratulations and welcome to Gordon. Thank you also to the Spartan Club and to our athletics department for honoring this annual tradition and for giving us the opportunity to come together and to celebrate excellence. First, I want to congratulate all of our inductees and current student athletes for your successes as Spartans, as students, and as professionals. As each of you know, Case Western Reserve University is an institution focused on impact. Certainly, all of the honorees here tonight have had an impact on this campus, in the classroom, in competition, and in the case of our former colleague, Lou Stark, in the administration of the university. Current students, I suspect that some of you may return to this dinner as future Hall of Fame inductees yourself. You never know. I also want to take a moment to express my gratitude for Gary Pillar, a member of the Case Western Reserve University's family who passed away last December. Many of you knew Gary. He was the Senior Director of International Development and Assistant Athletic Director in the Department of Athletics. Sports in general, and especially Spartan athletics, were always a part of Gary's life. Tonight, Gary's niece, Jacqueline, has joined us to honor Gary and to posthumously accept the University Award for Athletic Excellence on his behalf. Thank you. I also want to acknowledge another special guest, Tammy Wine. Tammy has been a tremendous supporter and friend of the university and our athletics programming over the years. Tammy's late husband, Jim, was an alumnus, a former Spartan cross-country and track athlete, and a member of our board of trustees, of which he also served as chair. Even though Jim graduated in 1965, his heart never left our campus, and he and named a dear friend of Case Western Reserve University. Jim and Tammy's gifts to the university have supported many things: the Wyatt Athletic and Wellness Center, the Civic Track, Think Box, 2 professorships, and the Interdisciplinary Science and Engineering Building. In 2022, the Wyatts made a gift to name Pillar Plaza, which is the courtyard entrance to Nami's ballpark, in honor of their dear friend and ours, Gary Pillar. Tammy, thank you for being here and for your and Jim's long-term support. Over the last 4 years, I've enjoyed the various opportunities I've had to attend games, meet competitions, to cheer on the Spartans, and occasionally with my friend to do the voiceovers. We've also had some pretty good runs with several varsity sports, which our Director of Athletics, TJ Shelton, will share here in just a few seconds. But more broadly, participation in athletics, whether it's a member of a varsity team, a club sport, intramural sport, or even a PE class, is a critical part of our campus community and of the college experience. It can be a way to connect, and it's also how many students form friendships. And of course, there are the many life lessons you learn through sports. To our Hall of Fame inductees, we're honored that you are among our alumni and that you choose to represent Case Western Reserve. And to the other award winners, congratulations. I hope you all enjoy this special evening, and I'll turn things back over to Bob. Thank you for being here.
You know, one of the great things about President Kaler is over the last few years, we've got a great run in men's basketball in particular. In the NCAA tournament, 3 UAAs championships, 3 NCAAs, and 2 Sweet 16s. And President Kaler has joined me and at sometimes done play-by-play all by himself for broadcast in softball as well. And I'm sure there are other sports. So it's you have a president athletically who is completely committed. So it's always nice to see. And speaking of commitment to athletics, it's now my pleasure to bring up the James C. Wyatt, Director of Athletics, TJ Shelton. TJ?
Thank you, Ron. I appreciate that. Ron obviously is still living the dream as an athlete, and you can see he has a little slight bump on the elbow there, so appreciate his support. I want to thank President Kaler. Obviously, his continued support. We have a great team at Delbert Hall, so Carol Moss as well, and Travis Attenbar. When we have an administrative team like that to really champion athletics through their leadership and support, that makes it easy for us to really support our student athletes. It's an absolute pleasure to welcome all of you to tonight's Hall of Fame induction ceremony. You know, we get to honor the best of the best tonight. Celebrate the legacy of excellence that defines our athletic community. This is one of those I feel like the most cherished moments and traditions that take place, an opportunity to recognize and celebrate those that have helped shape what we call the very spirit of the Spartan community. As athletic director, I'm constantly inspired by the stories that make up the athletic history. And tonight we add a new chapter, honoring those that embody the drive, the resilience, and the Spartan pride that defines CWRU. Speaking of that, I want to say hello to Amy Backus, former athletic director that joined us. Every time we bump into each other, I said, "You should want your seat back," and she said she's enjoying sailing right now. So, actually, I live on lake, and I see her sail by every now and then, so she waves, and so we appreciate that. So, each inductee really has earned a place in this Hall of Fame, and through the years of hard work and unwavering commitment, really the values that we stand for, which are compete, win, respect, and unite. So, thanks again for them. Here's some highlights for our athletic programs. You know, obviously an outstanding year to date. So academically, all of our student athletes perform at a high level. We had a 3.67 GPA for 600 student athletes, so that's outstanding. For the fall, we had 76 members for the fall semester and 140 in the winter that were named all UA academic honorees. So I think that's a round of applause. 58 members of our football team. They're competing in all the PAC, the all academic team. So Coach Devilak and his staff have done a remarkable job there. We also had one member on the NCAA Women of the Year finalist, Hannah Cassie, who is a member of the women's tennis team. So 2 years in a row, the top 9 finalists of the Women of the Year at the NCAA. So once again, outstanding for our student athletes. And we had 2 student athletes receive $10,000 for the NCAA post-grad scholarship. Women's soccer, Carly King and Maggie Dillione. So congrats to them. The true NIL money for our student athletes, so they're earning it the right way. Both in terms of athletic success, both our women's soccer and volleyball team qualified for the NCAA championship. Thanks to swimming and diving, we had 13 All-Americans this year, Doug, and also, which is a program record, and we had a 2-time national runner-up, Abby Wilkoff, that really great honor for that program. And Morgan Trail is here supporting them, so thanks to Morgan. She also did the centerpieces, so real creative challenger there. So to the inductees, once again, thank you for showing your excellence, what excellence looks like. Your influence is stretched far beyond the scoreboard. You're inspired by our current student athletes, cultivated excellence, and made all of us better. So once again, welcome, thank you. And in honor of Gary, most of you, if you went out to eat with him, you know he did not like onions, so I think I tried to ask Bon Appetit not to have onions in part of the meal, so a little bit in his honor. So welcome and congratulations.
Thank you, TJ. Next to the podium is the Spartan Club president, a former Spartan athlete, but I guess once you're a Spartan athlete, we should never call you former. You're always a Spartan athlete. Angel Rice. Angel.
Well, hello, welcome everybody to the Spartan Club Hall of Fame banquet of 2025. As it was mentioned, as an ex-athlete here, I know some of my favorite times, my memories of being at Case were the times where I was competing with my teammates and then obviously hanging out and going to classes after, and I'm sure a lot of us in the room will share some of the same sentiments. The Spartan Club, for those of you that may not be as familiar with us, but we are a group of stakeholders that really has a vested interest in supporting our student athletes in a variety of different ways. This year marks a special anniversary as the first Hall of Fame induction ceremony was held 50 years ago in April of 1975. This was a culmination of the work of the Case Reserve Athletic Club, affectionately known as CRAC, for those athletes who may have heard of that. CRAC was the first co-alumni organization formed in the history of Case Western Reserve University, and was formed to honor the rich tradition of student athletes at both the Case Institute of Technology and Western Reserve University. Eventually, the Case Reserve Athletic Club was renamed the Spartan Club, and here we are today. If you have an interest in joining us in this endeavor, we're always looking for those that really, want to be a part of this, and so please reach out to TJ, Eli, Grant, myself. We're happy to let you know kind of where you can get involved. I did want to take a quick minute to personally thank Eli Grant. He leads our Hall of Fame selection committee along with TJ Shelton, John Schwartz, and there's a bunch of Hall of Fame committee members that participate in a very competitive process. We're coming into some years where we have really impressive resumes to consider. So those that do make it to Hall of Fame, you should feel it is quite an honor for you to do so. As I said, this year the bar continues to get raised, and this year's no exception. We really have an amazing group of athletes that accomplished quite a bit during their time here at Case. And we're going to hear about that in a second. Before I turn it back to Ron, I did want to acknowledge any of our Hall of Fame committee members that are in attendance, so please stand if you are a member of the Hall of Fame. Well, with that, we will go ahead and I'll kick it back to Ron to get us started.
I have a, if you're used to ESPN, you get the da-na, when you get an update. Well, President Kaler just got one of those, and he told me that the Spartans baseball team clinched the UAA championship. And I heard the score was 25-18, so it was quite a picture's duel in that championship final, at least a clinching victory. So it's always my goal as the introducer, so to speak, of the Hall of Famers at this event tonight is to not spend a whole lot of time at this podium because it is their night and it's their time to talk and reflect on their very memorable, important, and probably life-changing career here at Case Western Reserve. So we're going to start in the special category. Our special category inductee tonight is Lou Stark. And as a point of protocol or reference, when we bring Lou to the podium, I'll announce who his presenter is. And if that presenter could come up, and they'll present Lou and all of the inductees tonight with their special picture plaque presented by the Spartan Athletic Club. And Tim, to my right, our photographer on campus, will take a very special picture of the presenter and the inductee. So that's kind of like the direction of traffic tonight. So let's talk about Lou. Lou retired from Case Western Reserve University just a couple of seasons ago. And I say season because although he was an administrator and made his legacy, or at least part of his legacy here at Case Western Reserve as an administrator, his true passion maybe and his real impact was felt with all of the student athletes on campus. Lou is described as approachable. And let's be honest, a lot of times in higher education, some administrators aren't approachable by students. Lou was always approachable, and that will forever be, I think, the thing that people say when they mention Lou Stark. They'll say, he was for us, he had our back, he was a guy that we could go and talk to. And not only was he someone that you could talk to, he was someone that you could count on if you were a coach, specifically if you're an assistant coach, because Lou led the charge to really add the legacy and the buildup of assistant coaches and all the coaching staffs here at Case Western Reserve, and that has certainly proved to be something that has been very successful since Lou's push for assistant coaches. Now I asked each honoree tonight in this room as I introduced myself to each of them, if I said, I want to use the word commitment, and I want you to describe to me in your history here at Case Western Reserve what that word meant to you specifically, either in your sport or in Lou's case, in his time with student athletes on our campus. And Lou's answer to me was, Ron, when I think of commitment, and I think of what my charge was here at Case Western Reserve, I think of making it easier for student athletes. As simple as that. Making it easier for student athletes. So now I'd like you to join me in welcoming to the podium our special category inductee, Lou Stark, the guy who made it easy for student athletes.
Thank you all so much. It's so wonderful to be here tonight. Thank you to the Spartan Club. I do want to say, no matter what we think in this room, I don't know what everybody thinks, but I want to say one personal thing. Go Cats. Go Cats. I'd like to recognize tonight some folks who are here with me, and start with my wife, Ann, who has just been a huge supporter over the years of my work. She came to contests with me, would host events at the house, and I'm grateful for the 45 years she has stuck through this. Well, we've only been married 30, but 45, the extra 10 was part of my career, but 35 years she stuck with me. My son, Will, who's a Weatherhead class of 2018 graduate, and his lovely girlfriend, Sarah Fink, our former athletic director, Amy Bacchus, and Sue Zawacki. Amy, thanks for being here, and Sue, thank you so much. I'd like to recognize Tammy Orwine, our great friend. Tammy is, as you heard President Kayla say, is wife of former Board of Trustees Chair Jim Wine. Jim and Tammy have not only been extremely generous when it's come to financial support for athletics, but have also been so personally supportive in our day-to-day work, and for that we're grateful. Thank you for being here. Someone I did not realize would be here tonight, but has been a friend of mine for 41 years, when you think about it, is John Scherer. John was the former athletic director at Washington University. John and I worked together when I was a young associate dean at WashU, and he was instrumental in forming the University Athletic Association. I'm so glad he's here tonight, and he's also a member of our visiting committee for athletics here at Case Western Reserve University. I'd also want to recognize Gary Pilley, a friend who is with us tonight in spirit. Gary was instrumental, absolutely instrumental, in moving our athletic department forward at CWRU, and was extremely supportive of our agenda, and we miss him very, very much. I'm grateful to everyone else who is here tonight. This recognition is not about me, it's about we. My time working with athletics at CWRU is something that is very special to me. At the moment in time when I came to see it at CWRU, former President Snyder and former Provost Baseley were clear that they wanted to see the student-athlete experience enhanced. They couldn't be clearer about that. Working with the staff, students, faculty, and alumni to make that happen was truly a team effort. Facility improvement, adding coaches and staff, greater visibility, and developing a spirit of pride were all part of the plan. None of this would have taken place without the efforts of the wonderful and talented team we had and put in place. I'd like to start with Pat Kennedy, who served as our interim athletic director. I hired Pat when we had a leadership change. He helped set the stage for our transformation. His efforts were tireless. Amy Bacchus, who I've introduced, our athletic director, whose leadership was nothing short of transformational. And I want to say thank you. We hired Amy from Yale, and she came in understanding the student-athlete experience at a highly selective research university. Amy made it happen. T.J. Shelton, my second AD that I hired, continued the momentum and brought experience from WashU and the Ohio State University that we needed to continue moving forward. Karen Farrell, our associate AD and head volleyball coach, who chaired both my AD searches and who was such a great sounding block and confidant for me as we moved our agenda forward. John Schwartz, a hire that Amy made from Emory, who came in and increased our visibility in the NCAA, receiving student scholarships and awards, and increased our visibility on a national level. And former Provost Bud Baseley for his endless support and encouragement. He truly was there every step of the way and was a champion of our work. But last, but certainly not least, my assistant, Doreen Thibodeau, who always made the day-to-day happen. Couldn't have done it without that. The key to it all are our incredible coaching faculty and some of them you met today who are in the room, and the athletics staff who worked tirelessly to meet the goals and to create an environment that supported our vision of compete, win, respect, and unite, and to support the well-being of our student athletes. We have the most wonderful group of student athletes here, and knowing we were moving forward to support their hard work and efforts made it all worth it. We're fortunate to be part of the University Athletic Association and to compete with and against and share fellowship with like institutions and being in the most competitive D3 conference in the country. This truly enhances our student-athlete experience. Once again, to President Kaler, the team, the Spartan Club, I can't thank you all enough for the opportunity to get this recognition. But I thank mostly people in this room who made it all a reality and made it happen. Thanks, and have a good night.
So Lou hit leadoff tonight, and this will be the order. After you give your acceptance speech, you'll walk here with your presenter to get the picture from Tim. And Lou pointed it out, but that's Lou's wife, Mary, and that was his presenter tonight. I'm sorry. Yeah, not Mary. Oh, that feels so wrong name. That's Ann. You know, one of the things that struck me about Lou was all of the connections, it's relationships, right? You know, the people he mentioned, Ann, 45 years together, John, 41 years. That's what tonight's about. I mean, that's how you get to the point of being a Hall of Famer, is relationships and people supporting you and trusting you and rooting you on. And our first student athlete that we'll honor tonight comes to us from swimming and diving. Class of 2014, her name is Maggie Dillione. Go ahead, give us a clap for Maggie. When Maggie graduated over a decade ago, and Maggie, it's been over a decade, she graduated as the best butterfly swimmer in program history. Best butterfly swimmer in program history. She was a 4-time All-American. Maggie, how many years were you at Case Western Reserve? 4 years? 4 years. 4-time All-American. She placed 3rd nationally in the 200-yard butterfly and 7th in the 100-yard butterfly. Those are some of her highlights. Her junior and senior year, she won the UAA, University Athletic Association, in the 200 fly. And she has school records in both of the butterfly events. Now, when I asked Maggie, I said, commitment, what's that mean to you? She thought for just a moment, and you could see that the wheels were turning in her brain as her eyes went up to the left side. I look to the left when I think. And she said 5 a.m. That signifies commitment to me. I said 5 a.m. She said every day for 4 years, I woke up at 5 a.m. and either rode my bike or walked to swimming practice. Please welcome our next inductee, Maggie Dillione.
Spartan Club and the Hall of Fame Committee. I have not been back here in over a decade, so thank you for bringing me back. It's really great to see. A lot of things have changed, a lot of things haven't, but really kind of solidified how much I love this place and how much I love being here. Congrats to my fellow inductees, a lot of whom names I recognize and faces I recognize, but ironically did not meet in person until yesterday. So that was also very fun to get to do, to kind of put names to faces finally. I remember the day that my parents dropped me off. They met us in Deal over by the pool before I cried my eyes out after they left. But my dad and I were walking along the wall where all the awards were, where they used to have it, and now I think it's all digital. But I told him, I said, I'm going to be on that wall one day. And I remember this like it was yesterday, and he was like, well, why not you? And it wasn't because of the accolades or because I wanted the award, it was because I knew that if someone believed in me, I believed in myself enough to work really hard, I could do it. And the two people who believed in me the most were Doug and Emily, our coaching staff. Doug and Emily were both new my freshman year, so we had a whole brand new coaching staff and a brand new group of freshmen, and I couldn't be more proud and honored that I got to swim for them. They were two people who brought something new to the former program, and they were willing to kind of do whatever it took and change things that weren't working and really supported us kind of throughout our academic and our athletic endeavors. And for that, I couldn't be more grateful. I would not be here unless it was under the guidance of Doug and Emily. Emily is currently the head coach at the University of Rochester swim team. She can unfortunately not be here, but this is as much hers and Doug's as it is my honor and award. I'll never forget the time Emily, my coach, assistant coach, and so she and I spent 45 minutes getting my basket on at Nationals in 2013. It took us a very long time. We finally did it. I was able to swim. For that, I think that's a memory that's always going to live in my head. A lot of my teammates could not be here. Unfortunately, they're kind of all over the country now, but I wanted to publicly thank them as well. My teammates who became my best friends. Our group chat is still going after 15 years, and so I really appreciate and they're the best people, some of the people in my life, and I appreciate them. This would also not be, I would not be here without them, my training partners and my friends. Two people who I don't think I've ever thanked publicly and who also could not be here, my two younger sisters, both of whom were much better swimmers than I was. And as an oldest child, if you were an oldest child, you know it's a very big ego blow when your younger siblings are much better at sports than you or much better at anything than you. But I never actually formally thanked them for being my biggest competitors, but also my biggest supporters. So I really just wanted to say that kind of in front of everybody, because they deserve it, and they're the two of the best people I know. And then last but not least, to my parents who traveled all across the country for many years. I swam for 17 years, and my sisters were younger than me, so they probably did this for 23 or 24 years. Traveling across the country, watching swim meets where your kids swim for 25 seconds to 2 minutes, and it's kind of and there's 50 other kids that have to still swim, and kind of sitting through that, and through the good, some really good times, as well as some pretty bad times that were thrown there from all three of us. And this is as much theirs as it is mine. I would not be here without them. I love them very much. Again, thank you to everybody. This is an honor. It's great to be back at Case. I hope I represent the program and give it as much as it gave to me. Thank you.
Maggie is being presented by her coach, Doug Milligan. Maggie, I wondered, with all the chlorine over the years, has your hair ever changed colors?
Yeah.
One more round of applause for Maggie. Our next honoree is in the sport of tennis, and Eric lived a dream, I think. If you've ever played any sport at any age, whether you're on the dirt infield or on a soccer pitch or on a tennis court or near a basketball hoop, you think about one opportunity, one chance to win it all, right? And if you could have that one opportunity, one chance to win it all, and have it also be the last time you ever play, at least competitively, that'd really be the ultimate dream, right? Eric Klawitter lived that here at Case Western Reserve University. He's a 2014 grad, and he capped his career in, as I said, that storybook fashion. He won the school's first ever NCAA doubles championship, and he won it in his final collegiate match. The national championship capped a historic career. He set program records in wins with 140, single wins with 75. He helped the team after his first ever NCAA tournament appearance. He helped it in 2013 to get that. win his first ever postseason match. And when I asked Eric, I said, if I say commitment to you, what comes to mind in your athletic career? And he thought for a moment, he thought, I don't know what word to use, but he said, me and my teammates. He said, we were always on long road trips, it seemed. He said, we were always maybe staying in a place that wasn't as comfortable as we hoped it would be. And I said, a grind? And he said, yeah, the grind. And he said, from his freshman year to his senior year, that grind became the identity of not only Eric, but his teammates. And they thought of themselves as grinders. So for our next honoree, Eric Klawitter, his word is the grind. Please welcome him to the podium.
I'd like to start off by thanking everyone who's made this event possible. It's been really a smooth process, everything from the initial communication and all the food, staff, all the events, drinks have been just ideal. So I know it's not easy to organize such a big event, so thanks to everyone involved in that. I'd also like to congratulate my fellow inductees. It's an honor, and it's just over the past few days, hearing their stories, hearing their accomplishments, it's quite humbling to be up here, knowing I'm in such great company. I know there's a lot of other great student athletes that overlap me at Case who hopefully get their time as well. Every time I come back to Case, it's quite an experience. It brings back a lot of nostalgia. A lot of my favorite memories in life were made here as a student athlete, and just seeing the campus, seeing everything that's changed, everything that stayed the same is super cool, and also just seeing all the new developments and investments being made in the university is a really cool thing to me. Yeah, some of my best memories came here as a student athlete. I think the friends and teammates that are here today have really been some of my best friends in my life and really shaped me into the person that I am today. Just thinking back on my time as a tennis player, we had just such great competitive practices, and just waking up early, battling and yelling, supporting each other, and all that is really what I remember. And just the rigor of being a student athlete at such a prestigious university has really instilled a lot of values in me that I take with me today. Over the past couple of months, as I've gotten a chance to kind of reflect on my time at Case Western, it's been just super apparent that I really wouldn't be here without the help of so many people who I'd like to thank now. My family, my parents, and my beautiful sister are here today. They were always some of the biggest fans we had. They made it a point to travel to every match that they could and yell and support and do everything that they could to be involved in the program and help us succeed. Both my parents are tennis players, and they're really instrumental in getting me started, and I really have taken a lot of their interests and a lot of their personalities. So I think anyone who knows me, it's pretty apparent who my heroes are in my life. A lot of my teammates are here today as well that I'd like to thank. Like I said, they've had just such an impact on my time at Case and on my life as a whole. They're some of my closest friends here today. Many people view tennis as an individual sport, but I think anyone who's gone through our program knows how much of a team effort it really is. We have just a tremendous culture that is evident by our robust alumni network. We make such such a point to get together as much as we can, and we have great showings at all of our alumni events and support the current team as much as we can. So that culture has been really pivotal to my time at Case. So yeah, their support tonight is not surprising, but it's definitely not something that I take for granted at all. I'd also like to thank and kind of acknowledge the tennis players that kind of came before my time. I think the tennis program's success is not something that has always been there. The players who played before me were really pivotal in building this culture, and I know they went through a lot of really difficult times and really laid the foundation for what the program is today. Yeah, a lot of those players I really view as being more deserving than I am of being up here, so I really hope that they get their time, and I hope that they take pride in this award as well, since it really is such a group effort for anyone, any of the team success or any individual success is such a team effort. Yeah, this culture is something that I've been super happy to be a part of in building, and it's not something that's easy to build and maintain. It really takes a lot of intentional effort from people to spend the time and money to make commitments to be here. And I'm really glad to see that the current student athletes and recent graduates are making such a concerted effort to continue this tradition that we've built. Lastly, I need to call out my college coach, Todd. Yeah, one of the first things that I did when I found out I was being inducted was go online and check the Case tennis schedule to see if he'd be able to be here tonight. Unfortunately, he's down in Florida with a team. We've been following them super closely. They had a great result today, winning in the semifinals, so we're all excited for them to play in the UEA championship tomorrow. Yeah, Todd is a person who I think he makes an impression on just about anyone that he meets. For me specifically, I think the belief that he has had in me and in the team, and how much he pushed us on the court academically and as people, is something that I'll always be grateful for, and is something that I think I really needed at that point in my life. So I think of myself as super lucky to have joined a program with such a strong foundation of teammates, coaches, parents, and administrators. It's something that is super unique to Case Western, and was just so pivotal in my time here. Yeah, there's a lot of people that I haven't had a chance to thank, but I'm definitely thinking of them as well. So yeah, I think this recognition is such an honor for me and for everyone who's supported me during my time in Case, and I look forward to watching the Case Western athletics continue to be pushed to new standards for the years to come. Thank you.
Eric is being presented by C.J. Kimball. Eric mentioned that tomorrow the men's team plays for a UAA championship. They'll play the University of Chicago, and that's at 8:30 in the morning tomorrow in Altamont Springs, Florida, just outside of Orlando. So we'll cheer the men's team on tomorrow as they go for another UAA championship. Our next inductee tonight comes to us from the class of 2013. And comes to us from the sport of soccer, Kendra Scherer. In her time for Case Western Reserve, Kendra became only the third All-American in women's soccer program history. And she did that in her junior year. That junior year was so good, she recorded a program record 5 game-winning goals. Now, if anybody has ever played soccer, or you've watched soccer, or you've been around it, it's hard to score 1 goal in soccer. I'm getting a lot of head shakes right now as moms. Everybody understands that. But in one single season, to score 5 game-winning goals, that had to be as exhilarating as anything can be in the sport. She was recognized first team All-UAA that season. She was third team All-American that junior season. And she also became the first scholar All-American in program history. She led her team to the postseason that year, first in history. She led her team to a first ever postseason tournament win. But when I asked Kendra about commitment to her, I'm going to go back to that first team All-American scholar athlete for a second. She said it was the support that I felt as an athlete. And Lou mentioned it earlier. She said it was the support that I felt as an athlete from not only my coach with soccer, but also the faculty, the professors that I had on campus. If it got too hard academically and I needed time off from practice, she said I always felt that support from the professors and both my coach. So for her, the commitment came in support in her soccer career. Please welcome to the podium, Kendra Scherer.
I'm not a huge speech person, so forgive me for reading it from the paper, but this is quite an honor. Thank you all for everything. Like Eric said, the Hall of Fame committee, everybody here, thank you so much for making this happen. I feel very honored. Thank you for my wonderful husband over here, who's presenting this amazing award to me. And thank you to my parents and my sister who are over there. I first heard about Case Western with a piece of mail sent to me, including some pictures of campus. I didn't know much about it at first, but I quickly learned how integrated the campus was with the cultural side of Cleveland, how beautiful all the different buildings were, and how the academics and athletics could be a perfect mix for me. After many conversations with my dear coach, Tiff Crooks, who can't be here tonight, unfortunately, and plenty of time spent vacillating about how I wanted my college experience to be, I committed to Case and never turned back. Tiff has become a great friend to me. I made countless friends right from the start because of soccer, and I got to visit fantastic cities because we were lucky enough to be a part of the almighty UAA. The challenging academics prepared me for my future, and the chance to play college soccer was exactly what I hoped for growing up. My family committed so much time to my soccer life, endless tournaments, practices, trips, and I couldn't thank them more for helping to foster my love for the game. I started at Case knowing I had a solid group of soccer friends from the start, so that eased the transition greatly. It was a true blessing to be surrounded by so many intellectuals, people with great aspirations, people that can change the world. There was no better feeling than coming out of the locker room, up the driveway, under the scoreboard, to the beautiful lit up turf field surrounded by the amazing apartment buildings known to us as the Village. I couldn't imagine better facilities for both competing and studying, which we all did a lot of. I am now a nurse anesthetist at Fairview Hospital here in Cleveland and have 2 perfect kids, Austin, who will be 4 soon, and Sydney just turned 2. Even though they are too young to understand what Hall of Fame means to me, my husband has done a good job of fostering their excitement, and they sent me out tonight with big hugs. It'll be a true honor to tell them about my experiences and about this Hall of Fame weekend when they're older. My son started soccer for the 2nd season this month, and so far he largely has a lack of interest in the sport. I will hope for it to grow as soon as he scores his first goal sometime. Thank you everyone for being here tonight to celebrate these achievements, and go Spartans.
And presenting Kendra's honor is her husband, Adrian. You know, one of the things that Kendra mentioned about the travel in the association, it's another one of those great student athlete experiences, think of the University Athletic Association. St. Louis, Chicago, Atlanta. I won't mention that town in Pennsylvania that begins with a P, you know which one I'm talking about. New York City, and of course Cleveland. There are a lot of great places to travel as a student athlete at Case Western Reserve. Kendra, one other question though. With your first time playing son, are you his coach?
No. Maybe someday.
Maybe someday. Awesome.
Maybe we'll.
So I want a little audience participation on this next one. I want everybody to say the hammer. Come on, say it loud. The hammer. If you're going to throw something that's called the hammer, you better be a big, bad person, right? And what a better name to have if you're a hammer thrower. No, it's not Thor. It's Harry. Harry the hammer thrower. Harry Weintraub is our next inductee. Go ahead, clap for Harry. Harry comes to us in the class of 2014. Track and field was his sport. Throwing those weighted objects was his specialty. As a matter of fact, he graduated as arguably the best thrower in Case Western Reserve University history. He placed in the top 6 twice in the NCAA championships. He earned a bronze medal once when he threw the hammer in 2013. I had Thor in my mind, 2013. And placed 6th the following year in the same event. Harry won the University Athletic Association Championship in the hammer throw in each of his 4 years at Case Western Reserve. He has school records in both the hammer and the weighted throw. And when I asked Harry about his commitment, and I said, you know, you think of the word commitment, and to your specialty in hammer throwing, what did that mean? And without hesitation, he said, obsession is my word. He said, I was obsessed about doing the best I could every time I went out to compete. Obsession drove Harry's commitment right here to the Hall of Fame in the class of 2025. Harry Weintraub.
Thank you. I think we had a pretty good explanation of the hammer throw, but I thought that given the other sports here today, soccer and swimming and tennis are a little bit more straightforward. The hammer, for those of you who don't know, is a 16-pound metal ball on a 3.5-foot wire with a handle. So just now that everybody's up to speed. And I often get asked why hammer throw. It is a peculiar event, it's a specific event, and my answer is simple: I was bad at everything else. But I was fortunate in high school to have come across a former Irish Olympian and now a coach to the current U.S. record holder in the hammer throw, Patty McGrath. So my first thank you is to Patty. He took somebody who had, I guess, some potential, but someone who maybe didn't see it themselves, and became a decent thrower of that ball. Case was probably the best place, I think, for me to have the success I had as an athlete. Most schools require throwers to compete in all 4 of the major throwing events: the hammer, the weight, which is the indoor version of the hammer that we have to do because we're in Cleveland, discus, and shot put. Now, like I said, I was not good at any of the other events. Well, I was good at the weight, but that was just the hammer indoors. At Case, I was given the opportunity to just focus on my specialty. And as I continued to throw on my own, against my better judgment, over 30 years old, I'm reminded how solitary an endeavor it can be. But the time spent at Case with my teammates, who I'm thankful that a couple of my teammates are here today, it never felt like a solitary experience, and it really was a group that some of my best and cherished memories here from Case are with them. I remember when Coach Schmoll, who unfortunately can't be here today, was hired as the head coach I was a rising junior. He scheduled meetings with all of the returning athletes. And he likes to remind me, as I've got to catch up with him in recent years, that as a very bold 19-year-old, I came into his office, sat down and said, I'm only competing in 3 indoor meets. I'm only competing in the hammer throw. I don't do anything else. These are the only things I do. And he said that if it wasn't his first day, he would have tossed me out of that room and told me to come back when I figured myself out. But I think this has worked out. I think we would both say it definitely worked out. This is an incredibly cool honor. I have many people to thank. First, I'd like to thank Coach Breon. While I was a thrower, Coach Breon was an MBA student, a law student, a track coach, and I believe a football coach as well, for 1 year. And he did all of those things at the same time while dealing with my obsessive nature, which included a lot of neuroses at track meets. So I could not have asked for a better coach and a better friend to get me through those times. Thank you, Ron. I'd also like to thank Coach Eric Schmoll, who, as I said, can't be here today. He's off in New York with the UAA, at the UAA Championships. I saw before I sat down, the women are currently sitting in second place after day 1, and the men are in 4th, so looks like things are going well in New York. I'd also like to thank Coach Steve Rubin, who is the coach who recruited me to come to Case and is the reason I'm here today. He was a great influence on me, and I sincerely thank him. And of course, I'd like to thank my family, my mom, my dad, and my fiance Brittany. You've supported me and continue to support me as I throw, and I could not ask for a better group to get me to throw. So thank you to the Spartan Club. This is a really great honor.
Harry being presented by Coach Ryan Breon. Now, I wanted to make sure that I pronounced everybody's name correctly tonight, because I really obviously think that's important. My last name's Jans, it's spelled with a J. If you looked at it, you'd say Jans, 100 times out of 100. So, Dillione, Klawitter, you're going to meet Niro here in a moment. And I walked up to Harry and I said, is it Weintraub? Like it looks. And he kind of laughed and he said, yeah, it is. And he chuckled a little bit and I said, why the laugh? And he says, well, actually the first time I was ever introduced to a track and field event, over the public address announcement speaker, they introduced me as Harry Wienerrub. And I said, Harry, can I use that today? I said, are you going to be using that? He goes, no, I'm not going to use it. I said, can I use it? He goes, sure. And I said, no, I'm not going to offend anybody. Your mom's not going to be embarrassed by that. And he said that she wouldn't. So it's not Harry Wienerrub. It's Harry Weintraub, class of 2025. Harry? Our next honoree tonight is from the class of 2012, and he comes from the men's soccer pitch. His name is Niro Wimalasena. Niro Wimalasena. And Niro's smiling and nodding his head at me because I successfully pronounced that all correctly. Go ahead, give him a round of applause. From 2008 to 2011, Niro set program records with 76 games started for Case Western Reserve University's men's soccer team. Now think about that, 4 seasons, 76 starts. You figure 20 plus matches in a season, so that's almost from the time that he stepped foot on campus to the time that he graduated as a senior, starting in every single men's soccer match. Program record. And he started on the back line. Those guys that play defense, right? And we talked earlier about Kendra's remarkable 5 game-winning goals and how hard it is to score a goal in soccer. And it's hard because of guys like Niro on the back line. And he's smiling at me right now because there's a lot of pride that comes in defense, right? Offense, the goal scorers. They get the NIL money at any level, but it's the defenders that oftentimes go unnoticed. Well, Niro's not unnoticed. He's not unnoticed here tonight. He was first team All-UAA as a senior. In all 4 seasons here at Case Western Reserve, he was All-UAA in one capacity or another. He was the first player in program history to be named All-American, Scholar All-American, and Academic All-American. Let me repeat that. First player in program history to be named All-American, Scholar All-American, and Academic All-American. He also said, or they also as a team, had 31 shutouts in his career, and one of those shutouts was a 1-0 win over Rochester in 2011 to clinch the UAA championship, and then a 3-0 win over DePaul, another shutout, the following weekend in the first round of the NCAA tournament. When I asked Niro about, what his definition of commitment was, he said it was one defined focus that we had as a team. And that one defined focus over all 4 years of his commitment as a men's soccer player at Case Western. And that was to make the NCAA tournament. And it finally came to fruition. Through the ups and the downs, the struggles, the question marks, the joy, and then the self-doubt, they stayed with that one defined focus. And Niro and his teammates reached that goal. Niro Wimalasena, class of 2025. Niro?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed coaches, faculty, staff, fellow athletes, friends, and family. My name is Niro Wimalasena. I had the privilege of representing Case Western Reserve University as a member of the men's varsity soccer team from fall 2008 through fall 2011, and I'm a proud alumnus of the class of 2012. I'm deeply honored and humbled to be standing here before you today as an inductee into the Spartan Athletic Club Hall of Fame. And for those of you who have taken part in a team sport, you understand and appreciate that individual accolades such as this recognition are underpinned by the collective greatness of the individuals surrounding the individual being recognized. Without the efforts of my fellow teammates, coaches, and support from family, friends, faculty, staff, and fans, I would not be standing before you here today accepting this honor. Thus, I would be remiss if I didn't take the opportunity to express my deepest appreciation to a few key individuals who have brought me to this moment. First, I would like to thank the Spartan Club and the Hall of Fame Committee for your consideration and selection among numerous talented and accomplished Spartan athletes that have represented Case Western Reserve University throughout its illustrious athletics history. To have been selected for this honor alongside Maggie, Eric, Kendra, and Harry, who were absolutely dominant in their respective sports, makes this recognition even more meaningful to me. Thank you to the athletics department and university administrators for providing key foundation to a winning culture and environment at Case Western Reserve University by providing a commitment to top-notch facilities, coaching staff, transportation, equipment, and much more that enable us to be a competitive school in the esteemed University Athletic Association and attract great talent to CWRU. Thank you to my teammates. This recognition is as much theirs as it is mine. I would not have been recognized with all the individual accolades throughout my career had it not been for their hard work and performance on the field. In particular, I wanted to thank my class of 2012 teammates, Vinny Bell, Ben Yapple, Kyle Alsa, Mark Ilhan, and Nathan Fields, who played a key role in our success in our 2011 campaign, our senior year. Every time I return to campus, I am proud to see 2011 etched into the UAA champions and NCAA tournament banners that surround the Santo Field. I'm hopeful to see a men's soccer team bring back the UAA title to CWRU and look forward to seeing continued appearances in the NCAA tournament, as we have seen in these past several years. My next thank you is a special one to my parents, Naomi and Rohan, who, without their tremendous sacrifice, none of my athletics career would have been possible. From the age of 5, when I had my first recreational soccer experience, to the age of 21, my final collegiate match, my parents invested their time and money to provide me as many opportunities as possible to hone my craft and advance my skills. I want to thank them both for their unwavering support and fostering the talents that I was gifted. Thank you for making the drive from Cincinnati to Cleveland regularly to be there in person for our home games, and for traveling all around Ohio to attend as many away games as possible. I am where I am today because of everything they have given me and for pushing me to strive for excellence in all areas of my life. I would also like to take a few moments to thank the man who was a key part of me attending Case Western Reserve University, former men's varsity soccer coach, Tim Palmer. Coach Palmer was a key reason I chose to attend CWRU and become a Spartan. As early as my sophomore year in high school, I had a vision of attending CWRU and studying engineering and playing soccer. Coach Palmer engaged with me regularly, and as I navigated making a potential choice for attending college, and he demonstrated his belief in me by trusting me to start as a freshman in our back line. Not many coaches would have been willing to take that risk and leap of faith right out of the gate, and I want to thank you, Coach, for believing in me. I also want to thank you for helping me grow as an individual and for your engagement with me when I was selected by the team as a captain my junior and senior years. You were always open to input. You helped me learn and grow key transferable skills with respect to communication, influence, building culture, and accountability in organizations. As I close out my comments, I want to thank my wife, Dana, for coming to support me this evening for my induction in the Hall of Fame, and for your continued support in allowing me to get back to the game of soccer by allowing me to continue coaching high school soccer outside of my primary career at Procter & Gamble. While you never knew me as an athlete, it's special getting to share this part of me with you, as it's such an important part of that has shaped me into who I am today. I look forward to bringing our children back up to campus when they're older to share with them this part of their father. I would also like to thank my younger brother, Lucky, and his wife, Sonia, for making the trip from Cleveland to Atlanta, or from Atlanta to Cleveland today, to be with you, me here today. I love you both, and appreciate you making the time to be here in person. It means so much to me. Thank you again for this tremendous honor, and I appreciate everyone being here tonight to celebrate with me and the other inductees. Go Spartans.
Niro is joined by Dan Palmer to present his award tonight. Niro, I've got to tell you, recently, maybe you guys can see the sling, I had surgery, so I had a lot of downtime sitting on a couch with something to do, and I said to my children, I said, what should I binge watch? And they said, binge watch Ted Lasso. And if you've seen Ted Lasso, it's about, a soccer club, and it's about more than that, but anyways, it's been very entertaining. So soccer has entertained me in my downtime. We are about to present our last award of the night. It's the University Award for Athletic Excellence. And tonight it goes to Gary Pillar, the former Assistant Athletic Director for Development here at Case Western Reserve. Gary's niece, Jacqueline Sweetzek, will come up and get Gary's award and hopefully speak on the family or for the family about Gary's commitment to Case Western Reserve. And as I mentioned at the beginning, it was Gary that originally asked me years ago to take part of this event to honor athletes and contributors to athletics at Case Western Reserve. Gary took me to New York and to Boston on a basketball trip one year. I've always enjoyed my time with Gary Pillar. He was not only a friend of mine, he was a friend of my brother Craig, who used to work in the athletic department here at Case Western Reserve University. And, you know, I can read, and I will a little bit, you know, Gary's legacy that he's left here at Case Western Reserve, but really all you need to do is walk campus and you'll see it almost every time you turn your head, especially in the athletic area. Things like the Hawaiian Athletic and Wellness Center, DeSanto Field, Nami's Ballpark, Mather Park, the endowment of the James C. Wine Director of Athletics position. As a matter of fact, that commitment to athletics was recognized by the Wyatt family just 3 years ago, 3 summers ago in June, with the dedication of Pillar Plaza. Gary passed away just a couple of months ago, just before Christmas. He was 71. I don't have Gary here tonight to ask him what his answer would be if I used the word commitment, but I have a pretty good guess. I think his answer would be twofold. One, it would be love. He absolutely loved Case Western Reserve University. And I think the second part of that answer would be the word relationship, relationships. Because if you think of Gary's success, and you think of the things that Gary was able to accomplish in his time here at Case Western Reserve, it was about building relationships. If people want to help you, it's because they like you. If people want to help you in the place that you work, it's because they like you. If they like you, you have shown a genuine commitment over a long period of time to caring about them. Building relationships, it's the secret to life, right? And Gary Pillar taught a master class in it. Please join me in welcoming Gary Pillar to the class of 2025, Spartan Athletics.
Hopefully I can get through this. My name is Jacqueline. I'm Gary's oldest niece. My dad is Mike, Gary's oldest brother. He's back there with my mom and my husband and my children. And then 2 of Gary's closest friends, Maureen and Raj, and Tammy is here as well. You most likely, as you just heard, that Gary passed away this past December. We had a beautiful service to celebrate his life, and I'm so grateful for this chance to be here to celebrate him again today. He touched so many lives, whether it was family members, friends, some of whom have known him since high school or even earlier, past students, colleagues, and acquaintances. We've heard time and time again how vast his reach truly was. And I wanted to thank those from Case who came to the service and shared stories and memories with us at that time. Gary was a multi-sport athlete growing up in Cleveland, and then he moved to Seven Hills, Ohio in elementary school. Sports were a big part of his childhood, whether it was to organize sports or pick up games with his brothers or neighborhood kids. He attended Benedictine High School and he played football and baseball for the Bengals. He graduated from OU with a major in business management and a minor in education, and he was a pitcher, student athlete for the Bobcat baseball team. After graduation, he started his career in education. He taught math and coached football and baseball at Benedictine High School, and he was the head coach for the Holy Name football team. His career eventually led him to a more administrative path and development, but he always found a way to weave in his love and passion for sports and for supporting and elevating possibilities and opportunities for student athletes. Starting a little less than 10 years ago, we tried to meet up with Uncle Gary at Case and Carnegie Mellon sporting events. I am from Pittsburgh. That joke, I caught that earlier. Let me just find my place here again. Okay, I'm sorry. So we would go to multiple sporting events with him, and we even ventured out to one track meet that was practically in a snowstorm. We mostly met to see basketball games just because of our schedules and our kids' schedules at the times. But when my kids were probably about 6 and 4, we went to a game at CMU, and Uncle Gary bought these small basketballs. And after the game, he arranged for a few of the university players to come over and give the balls to my kids. This was just one example of how he always had a way to enhance the time and make it even more meaningful and special. putting a twist and an added memory into each event. When we came to Cleveland, he often toured us around campus to show us the new updates and talk about his visions for upcoming projects. I remember seeing the Wyatt Athletic and Wellness Center for the first time. He thrived and loved the chance to share the space that was once a dream and became a reality, thanks to the generosity of Jim and Tammy Wyatt. Uncle Gary talks so highly of Jim and Tammy, and I heard about the many trips that he had when he went out to visit them. The relationship they built is an example of his passion for the work that he was doing, but also his character as a person who developed, nurtured, and maintained genuine relationships. He was devastated by Jim's passing, but also so honored to have known him as a colleague and a friend. When we were going through his things after his passing, we found a very warm case baseball coat. My son proudly wore this during early games this baseball season when the Pittsburgh temperatures were about 40 degrees. Uncle Gary bought my son Simon his first wiffle ball bat when he wasn't even 2 years old, and gave Simon a black Wilson A2000 baseball glove. Simon finally grew into this about 3 years ago and is using it to this day. He knew that my daughter was playing softball, and unfortunately with our busy schedules, we couldn't coordinate to watch the Case women's team together in person. So he sent us a link for one of the playoff games, and we watched from home. He arranged for my brother's family and my parents to watch an Indians game together when my kids and my brother's kids were very young. I always enjoyed riding in the car with him, and this is typically when he would give facts about different parts of the city. He would tell stories that I wish I could have recorded, or we would just listen to music. But during these car rides, I always asked questions about the class that he taught at Case. I wish that I could have sat in. The thought that he put into the course content, the guest speakers that he brought in, I imagine that it must have been such a tremendous experience and opportunity for those who took his class. He was a dynamic, engaging, and passionate man who cared deeply and always went the extra mile to make things special for others. He had a wide reach and influence and was very dedicated to his work. Bracknell Place was his residence, but Case has been his home over the last 20 years. Thank you to his extended family here at the university for helping to fulfill his life. We were fortunate to be here on June 2nd, 2022 for the dedication of Pillar Plaza, and now we're fortunate to be a part of this celebration today. On behalf of Gary T. Pillar, thank you for this honor.
Thank you, Jacqueline. And thank you to Gary's family for being here. You're the back right side of the room. Why don't you all stand up so everybody can give you guys a round of applause. As we close tonight, I'd like to point out a couple of things. If the group of inductees, and Jacqueline, if you could come up too to represent Gary's family, if you could come up here as a group when we're done. Tim would like to get a group picture of the class of 2025. And then as the evening breaks, if you would like to take your placard, your poster, your honor that's on the easels up here, you can take that as well. I don't know if you're allowed to take the easel or not, but Fast Eddie Carrickis, the sports information director, back there shaking his head no. I think Eddie uses those easels at home. He has pictures of John Schwartz up in his house. And TJ, I think it's John and TJ that Eddie has up in his house. You know, I think tonight we learned that you need to get up early to be successful in life. We learned that you need to recognize and be thankful for support in your life. We learned that you always need to have focus, and even if it reaches the level of obsession. We learned tonight that you know it will get hard, and when it gets hard, you have to just grind through those tough days. We also learned that you need to chase your commitment with passion to make things easier for all of those around you that you love and support. So it was a great representation, a lot of wonderful ideas about how we walk through life, not only by ourselves, but together. So thank you to the class of 2025, Lou and Maggie, Eric and Kendra, Harry and Niro, and Gary. Thank you for being here tonight. We hope you enjoyed your night. Please stick around and reminisce and talk and enjoy the company of the Case Western Reserve University family. Thanks for being here.